Namaste. This podcast is not based on any topics on planets or astrology. This podcast is basically to help you find the solution, the real solution to your problems. And that is how, in this podcast, I have shared a beautiful story through which you can understand that the solution is very simple. Whenever you are going through a difficult phase of life, whenever you are going through some low phase of life, what is it that you should focus on? Which path you should follow? Answer to these questions is what you will find in this podcast. So let's begin. I have always said one thing, and that is God is simple, truth is simple, love is simple. Simple is the way, but the mind makes things complicated. And then you are caught, you are stuck, and you start suffering. When you are going through Rahu or Shani or any difficult Mahadasha or period, it is necessary to focus on certain remedies that can help you to overcome this difficult phase of Rahu, Shani or Ketu. To overcome the difficult phase of your life, the way is simple. What is the way? Before I tell you the way, I will share a beautiful story. There was a man, his name was Changdev. And Changdev was a man of many magics. He had done penance in the Himalayas for 1000 years, and he had a following of thousands and thousands of disciples. One day, he comes to the village of Alandi, and the people of Alandi welcome him by showering flowers on his way. Changdev is happy to see such a grand welcome, but soon he came to know that in this village of Alandi there is also one more great saint, and his name is Saint Jnaneshwar. And Saint Jnaneshwar was 15 years old at that time, while Changdev was more than 1000 years old. With his yogic powers, he was able to live for so many years. Changdev thought that I should show this Jnaneshwar my power. So he sits on the back of a ferocious tiger and starts moving towards the river bank where Jnaneshwar with his brothers and sisters was seated. And Jnaneshwar was such a beautiful fellow. His heart was full of compassion, filled with unconditional love. He indeed was the avatar of Sri Vishnu. He smiled and said to his siblings, Changdev is coming to meet me by driving a tiger. And they all were seated on a wall at that time. Jnaneshwar's sister said, then let's drive this wall and go to meet Changdev. The brothers of Jnaneshwar said, but this wall is made of bricks. How can we go flying on this wall? Jnaneshwar smiled and said, nothing is impossible for those who love God. And the greatest miracle happened, my fellows, the greatest miracle. The wall took off into the air just the way an airplane takes off. And Jnaneshwar with his siblings remained seated on the wall. while the wall continued to fly in the sky until they reached the place where Changdev was slowly moving by mounting on his tiger. As the wall landed before Changdev, the whole village and Changdev himself was taken aback by this greatest miracle that happened before his eyes. He had the siddhis to drive all the living beings in this world, but driving a dead wall? Not just driving but flying by sitting on a dead wall, that was too much. He had spent thousands of years in deep penance, but never had he attained such kind of unimaginable power. He quickly got down from the back of the tiger and rushed towards Saint Jnaneshwar and touched his feet and started crying like a child. Jnaneshwar raised him up and Changdev said, "I am sorry. I was caught up in my ego of attaining siddhis, but you have opened my eyes. I spent thousands of years in penance, but I remained a blank slate. Now show me the way, O Master, show me the way." And Saint Jnaneshwar smiled and said, "Changdev, there is no need to feel bad. The moment one realizes his mistake, he starts walking on the right path. And the right path is the path of devotion, the path of love, the Bhakti Marg." And Jnaneshwar gave Changdev a warm hug. The man was back home. He had spent hundreds of years in penance, but never had he felt so much love welling up in his heart. It is said that when Saint Jnaneshwar took Samadhi at the age of 17, it was Changdev who cried the most, and he was 1,000 years old at that time. A real story that happened in the village of Alandi, Maharashtra. Even today, the wall on which Jnaneshwar had sat and the wall which Jnaneshwar flew is present, and Saint Jnaneshwar Samadhi Mandir is also present. The whole beauty is in the Bhakti Marg, the devotional path. There may be many ways to reach God, but the most fastest and easiest way to reach God is the path of love, path of devotion, Bhakti Marg. Whenever you are going through difficult path, difficult phase, Rahu, Shani, Ketu, it is necessary that you focus on following the path of devotion, the path of love, where you recite the name of the Holy Lord, you sing in the praise of the Holy Lord. That is how you can overcome the bad phase of your life. By devoting yourself to the Holy Lord, slowly, you easily walk through the many difficult phases of your life. When you cry with love from the bottom of your heart, God is listening. Remember this. God is absolutely not interested in your intellectualism. God is interested in your heart, because love wells up only from the heart. If you are a man of heart, if you are a woman of heart, then you don't have to worry much. You are the chosen one, and God is going to make sure that you attain what you desire. Dance, sing, Let there be more love flowing through your entire being, and then God will come in search of you. The Master will come in search of you. Remember, the difficult path that you are going through is only because of your own karma. And the only way to overcome this difficult path is by reciting the holy mantra, by singing in the praise of the Holy Lord. That is how slowly you tame the monkey mind. And once the mind is purified, then it is very easy for you to overcome the mind. It is a long journey, but every journey begins with a single step. Enough for now. Jai Sri Ganesha, Jai Guru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.